Hey guys, Cindy over Paper Old New. Thanks for stopping by and spending some time with me today. I am working on another Making with My Mess video. As you can see, I've got all kinds of papers and things. These are all things I pulled out of my scraps. So I have pieces like this, and we will cut some of these down once we make some more room with these. So we have pieces like this out of my scrapbook paper scraps. I've got some more of the scrapbook paper scraps. I've got book page scraps. I've got music paper scraps. So we are going to try and make these collage cards. I am looking for cards. Granted, this could be a calendar journal video. I'm looking for cards to go in this one calendar journal that I'm ready to cover, and I've got the structure done. And I really like the way this turned out. So we're going to do some of these. I want to put some stitching on here and then add the last of the embellishments. Okay, I don't know if I will end up putting this on here or not. I mean, I could. Actually, that's kind of cute. I might still stick that on there. It would just stick out further. So I have to decide whether or not I'm okay with that. Anyway, so that's the deal with that. I could also trim the lace right there on it. And then I have a little flower. This is one of those ones that we made in an earlier scrap video, except I did it with a hexagon punch instead of a circle punch. And I'm going to put that on there. But I want to do the stitching first. So let's go ahead and work on these. These are the images from the back of the calendar. Remember the ones I'm always telling you on the back, the little squares that show all the pages? And I'm telling you to hold on to them. So that's what we're using on these cards. And as you can see, I've kind of laid them out here as far as like which ones I want to put on what cards. I am going to have to move them so that I have space to work, because as you can see, I've got my desk kind of cluttered up here. So I'm trying. All right, so we have this little guy, this little kitty cat. And we are going to try, this is going to be a similar formula to this one. They won't necessarily always be in the exact same spot, but we're going to do a very similar formula to this one. Okay, and we're going to use this little guy, and he may end up anywhere on here. Let's see, I'm looking for, oh, I have one of these already cut, and maybe we'll put it in the bottom this time. So we'll try and get everything laid out. Okay, and then I have a piece of this, which I could use a bigger piece this time than I did last time. Basically, I put this high and that low, and then we get our colored piece that we want to put the kitty cat on. Now, actually, I'm thinking maybe a bit of this. Let's tear it this way. And then a very little bit off of here. I hate that. I don't like it when as you're tearing, you have to pause and start over again, and it leaves those little spikes. Okay, I do need it to be narrower, so we are going to pull a spot. I'm going to pull some off of there. I mean, this can butt up against the edge of the card like that. And then we can put the kitty cat on here. And we'll get some book page or something to go on there, and we'll be all set. What do we think? They turn out cute, right? This has all the colors that's on the kitty cat thing. That's why I like it. But I mean, it's really easy to get too much on there, I guess. See, like that might be too big. I tear it a little narrower. My issue was I did kind of want the cat separated from this a little bit, so I kind of wanted the book page to be under the cat, but I don't know This goes all the way across. Let's move this over and move this over here. Like that. And then like that. That's better. I like that better. All right. So let's do it. So basically all I do, the other thing I do is we're going to round the corners on this guy. Okay, so we have him. And then I did use some ink. So I used pink around the notebook paper so that it tied in, but it also kind of blended. I did not ink this paper, the torn coffee dye paper. And then I did ink the white edges on but I used a darker, like a burgundy, like that. So we are going to do the inking. The hardest part, I will say, was finding the embellishments that I wanted to go on it. So let's see if we can get all the pieces down and then we'll worry about the rest. Taking from the picture and the paper is how I kind of figured out what I wanted to use as far as colors for inking. So let's see what we got. I think that green is too bright, so I don't want to use that. Here's tumbled glass. Oh, this is kind of a light blue, which is on there. I also did the edges of the book page a little bit. I do not think I've used this. I do not think I have. Oh, I used something with that. I don't think I have a pad for this, though. So let's do a new pad. It's got fuzzies all over it. I'm going to go just along the edges of the book page. So these cards will be going in one of the calendar journals that you guys saw me set up. And I'll show it to you. Because more than likely what we'll do is we'll make a few of them. I probably won't make all of them. I mean, I have 11 to make. One of them is going to have 2 pictures on it. So I have 11 of these to make. I probably will not make all of them with you. But we'll get them made and then I'll show you what book they're going in. So we did the calendar journal thing with the, what do you call it? The envelopes between the pages. It was a small journal. Yeah, I'm done putting it together. I haven't done the cover yet. We are going to do another video to make some cover embellishments, which I'm really excited about because they are something I've been wanting to make forever. So if I can get the pieces that I want to go together, and we can make those, there'll probably be another Making with My Mess video. Because it's the kind of cover that I'm going to make multiple versions of for different books. So I'm really hoping to be able to do that one soon. And I just have to make one myself. I haven't made one yet. But all right, so we're going to put that there. All right, all down. All right, and then we're going to put this on. Although I will say I think I wanted this under that. So can I peel this? Or is it too? No, it's not too stuck. Let me peel this bottom part up. I might put more glue on it and lay it back down. Okay, so we'll put this piece on. Now this is a piece of a notepad, and I'm probably going to pull some more of these out because I like this, you know, lined piece. Or you can get a different kind. It doesn't have to be, this just happens to be a narrow little notepad that I had, and I took the whole thing and coffee dyed it. Let me see. So this is what I used to make these. We're probably going to need that again, so. All right. And then we're going to, I've been practicing and trying. This took me a couple of iterations of sitting here messing with those pieces for the first card I showed you, the one that's almost done. Yeah, it took me a couple of rearrangings and tries and stuff to get it to where I wanted it before I could come on here and do this video. So, okay, I'm gonna get my, this is Victorian Velvet. So we have this. Just to hit the white core of the paper around the edges when you tear it. Because even though you tore it in the right direction, you can still, it's still there a little bit. I just think this, I don't want to say seals, but it edges it nicely. And it doesn't stand out a ton because it's a similar color to the paper. So I'm not looking for it to be I'm not looking for it to stand out. All right, and like I said, these are all scraps out of my scrap buckets. I did not get any, there are no full sheets of paper here, except for there's one, and technically it's a full-size scrap, and I'll show you why when I tear it. We'll do the one that I want to use it on next. It's a scrap because it's a misprint. Or a print of something that it was a test print, I guess I should say. And then I dyed it, and my intention was to use it as backing paper or scrap paper. So it's being used as intended. All right, and then we'll get this on and our little kitty cat down. And that'll be another one, excuse me, that'll be another one ready for stitching. Although I guess I do need to do the what do you call them? The edgings. I got a bunch of laces and things out to do edging with. So I need to do that too. Okay, so just like that. And then I forgot to edge this. We'll edge it with pink. And I'm not trying to get anything to stay on the calendar page. It's shiny. Most of this, especially the oxides, because they don't dry right away, it's going to wipe right off the picture itself. It's not going to stay, but it will stay on the core of the paper around the edges, and it knocks back that white, which, believe it or not, you can see sort of from the, I won't say you consciously see it so much as when you ink it, you realize, oh wow, that does make a difference. So it's like that, kind of. And I think I'll keep him mostly on the, or all on the pink. Okay. And then what's going to happen is these are going to get stitched, and then they're going to get backed. So, because they're not real, oh, I keep forgetting I had stuff laying on there. They're not real sturdy as far as cards go. So I want it to be a nice sturdy card, so they're going to get backed. So I'm going to stitch them and then I'm going to back them, and that's going to cover up. It'll sandwich the edging in between, and this will just stick out. Little embellishments there that I... Okay, now I think, oops, I think I wanted to use this one here. So we'll get a piece that is the right length. We'll cut it. I don't know if I'll use this again, so I've used it once in the book. I may end up using it again, so I'll just keep it down here. And basically all I do is turn this over, and we're going to glue this along the edge here. Okay. How's everybody doing? We're doing crafty things. I know my schedule is all over the place. We've been doing... I might not be homeschooling this year, guys. So I keep saying, I mean, we're kind of at the point where we've decided, but I don't want to jinx it. So I'm not like doing any parties or anything. I'm just kind of just lay that in the glue. Okay, just like that. I didn't come all the way to the top up there, but it's okay. It kind of almost disguises that notch that got taken out. All right, and then I'm going to take this off because it's a little bit long. Okay, and then we have a nice little, okay, and then when I stitch around, I should catch that one. Okay, but there's another one. So we have that one done. I'm going to put it right here on top of this one, ready for stitching. Now, the one I was talking about before, this one, this piece of paper right here, as you can see, has this printed on the back of it. I was just test printing, so I don't have any use for that. So I'm going to use this side, and we're going to make, this is what we're going to make our, and you can see there's a spot on this paper where it looks like some glue, some hot glue dripped or something like that, and I tore it off and it peeled the paper. So we're going to cover that up. And we're going to get our piece of, dyed paper, and I'm probably going to use that again. I want this side to come off nice and narrow so that I get as wide of a piece as possible. Now the other thing is if you tear it too narrow, you can always turn it on its side this way and tear it off, depending on how up and down the page you want it. Okay, so let's get rid of that. Put this over here. And we're going to kind of let's do a long, tall. Oops. Maybe not quite that tall. Hold on to that. I can use it on another card. And then if I put this on here, then this I might use taller than I did the other one. So like maybe I fold it at this line and cut it. And then I have a tall and a short. The last one I folded in half, so I had two pieces exactly the same size. Okay, so let's cut this off. Just right here along this line on the fold. I love the fact that this paper is lined and I can do that. Okay, and then we're going to put this one here. I like to put the torn edge over top. Okay. So like that. Now, the question is, for the goose picture, what did I, oh, here he is. Okay, so here he is. This is what he looks like. We're going to get a piece of paper like, do I want to use this on here? Or do I want to use this on here? I kind of like this, but it's very narrow. Could I use it with straight edges? Would we be okay with that, do we think? it goes all the way across like that. I turn it over and do it this way. The only reason I did that is because then I can put the book page on it. Some more dictionary page here. Are we thinking the goose gets lost? You know what? I might need to go this way after all, because then I can stick the goose over here in the plain spot. Do we want this piece to be longer? This would be my only question. Is if this piece sticks out further down here, do I like that better? So we'll just tear this off. Up there. Hold on to those. Might need them. Okay, so I'm going to put this down. Let's get our, I've got that teal one. Let's try, I'm pretty sure it's peacock feathers. There's teal in that one, in that stripe on that scrapbook paper. So let's go with that. Ooh, that is dark. I don't know if I was expecting it to be that dark, so let's keep it right on the edge. So yeah, I might be putting her in school next year, which is kind of nice. We're just trying to work out the tuition issues. So not quite ready to trust the public school system with another one of my kids. Just can't do it. But anyway, it's going to be a drive. I don't know what my channel will look like at that point. I might actually end up having to get into the year a little bit before I know how it's going to settle out and what I'm going to be able to do as far as keeping the channel going. Because I mean, right now I'm down to 2 videos a week. Let's face it. I started getting one out on Monday, and then I got one out on Thursday. So, I mean, I basically got 2 videos out a week at this point. And that's down a ways from where I was. And it's not that I don't want to put videos out. It's just that I'm having a little bit of trouble deciding on what to film. And I'm also... I don't know. Well, I told you I was having the, mojo struggle, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, I sit up here and I do stuff in my craft room on my own, but I don't necessarily know that it's stuff that I would film and put on video. And because, it's just the tedious in between day to day. I say tedious like I don't enjoy doing the paper crafting. That's not what I meant. I meant it's the stuff that you wouldn't put it in a video. Although I do want to try something that I saw. There's a reason why I think that we've kind of got Natasha over at Treasure Books as kind of the queen of junk journaling. She comes up with the most amazing ideas, and I've watched a couple things on her channel recently that I want to try. And I'm thinking that more than likely I will try them with you guys. So it's not going to be like a 100-day challenge like I did with Tina, but it's going to be some stuff that I've seen her do that I'm like, wow, I really want to give that a shot. So, and we might, give it a shot together. Where is, because hers always looks so professional and mine won't. So if you want to try something that she's done and you don't think you can make it look professional, just to let you know that not everybody will. This is an old nail file. Have you guys ever used one of these? Not to get off on a side tangent, but have you guys ever used one of these glass nail files? The file part, the sandpaper on the cheaper ones, I'm sure that there are some that this doesn't happen to. Eventually it wears off and all you've got is like a little glass stick, which makes a great bone folder, by the way. So if you have these glass nail files and they are, the sandpaper part is coming off, don't get rid of them. You can, just so you know. Okay, anyway, back to what we were doing. All right, so that was inked. This I'm going to ink. This peacock feather is serious. Oh, it's also ink. I forget that the little ones are ink. I feel like the ink, goes on the paper differently. If that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense or not. That's like a straight edge, but... Oh, no, this goes first. Okay, so that's that. And then I usually do the scrapbook paper in something else. This is orange. What do I have that's orange? I don't know. That's probably a big one. You know what? We're going to do wild honey. What's this one? That's probably wild honey. This is probably mustard seed. So, actually I'm inking that, and it's probably, I'm going to ink the top and bottom, because more than likely I'm going to end up trimming the edges off of the sides, because it's slightly too wide for the paper, and I'm centering it so that I can trim on both sides. So, let's see how that does. All right. Anyway, so I don't know, between the mojo issues and the not knowing what to film on here, and my schedule changing because I'm going to be trucking my daughter to school, and this school is a little under an hour from my house. So as you can imagine, I'm not going to drive the hour up and then back and then up and then back every day. My gas bill would be enormous, on top of the fact that we're paying tuition. So what it's looking like is going to happen is I'm going to be going up, staying in town where the school is for the day, and then coming back home, which means I'm going to be gone all day and don't have access to my crafting studio and won't be able to get in here and shoot videos or anything during the day, during the week. That's the way it's looking. Now, my husband has offered, because he's an early riser, that when he's home and is available, that he will take her up and sit. And he'll just sit in like a Dunkin' Donuts or something and do paperwork all day until it's time to pick her up. So that very well may be a thing that happens, in which case on those days I will be home. Now I will also have to get caught up on like cleaning and that sort of thing on those days, but hopefully I can get in here and shoot a couple videos. Anyway, so that's where it stands right now, and we don't know, it's kind of up in the air. And as far as the what to film stuff, like I said, I've been watching Natasha over at Treasure Books do these new journal ideas, and I'm like enthralled. I'm like, oh, I want to try that. That looks like it would be so much fun. That looks like it would make a really cool journal. I want to do it. So if I'm going to do it, I figured I'd do it on here, and that way you guys could watch me fumble through what she does so well as an amateur, and you can see that, you can see what the amateurish version of her amazing projects looks like. Probably could have put this a little higher, or I could have put the goose all the way on it like I normally do, but we'll have to see when I get whatever I'm going to get to embellish it, because usually I'll stick something down in the corner. So whatever it is will probably be big enough to like cover up some of that. And then we'll have to decide. Oh, okay, so now let's decide on the lace. Let me see where we are. I might pause you and go ahead and do wrong color blue. I might pause you and go ahead and do the stitching on the ones that I've got done. Because like I said, I have all of these ready to go, but I'm not going to do them all on camera. So maybe we'll have this on here. So let me just cut it. All right, stick the pin back in it. Put it up there. Okay, let's put that on. Like I said, I'm going to let glue dry on these. Oh, we might do one more, hopefully. Let me see. There was one other one I wanted to get done, so we'll see. I'm trying to get the edge of the base right up on the edge of the paper. I want all the little fluffy things to stick off. Is that the top? No, that's the bottom. Okay. So that's that one. I like the edging. And again, this has a nice flat edge. So when I go to sew on this, and when I go to glue whatever on top, the only one that I'm questioning is this one. This has one of those, bunched up tulle edges, where they've taken the edge of the lace and folded a piece of tulle over it and stitched it on there. So it's a little bulkier. So we just have to see how it turns out. All right, these embellishments, these there. And this was the one that I was telling you was going to have two pictures. So I'm going to be doing the duck in the boat and the bird. And the only reason is because I have 12 images and I have 11 pockets. So one of them had to be a double up. And this looks like it could be rigging and gear, and there's a lantern and a pulley and tools. And I thought it went with the boat. It's the only reason I'm doing this. So we got a piece of book page. We have this. Do we want to do this color? Oh, I can't do that way. But I can do it on this side. I'll do it on that side because we've done the other two the other way. All right, and then I want to figure out okay, you know what? We're just going to totally collage this one. I'm going to get out, I don't know what I'm going to ink these ones with. Maybe, do I have a red? I have, that's worn lipstick. That's not red. I have a burgundy. I might just do, might just do this. You know what else I have that I might try and weasel in here? See how it goes. Glue this down first. Let me put a lid on this. Okay. This is what collage messes with my head. Can you tell? All right, and then we're gonna put this on here like this. Okay, and then we're going to put this down. I would say I wonder if it would be better if this was brown, but now that I'm putting all the... What about this grungy yellow? We're going to stick with this. It ties in with a few things on the pictures. So, I mean, since the pictures barely tie together, I'm going to try and at least tie the background in. Yeah. All right. I'm going to do this. Okay. I have this piece. I'm thinking I might use it. And then put the pictures on top. Maybe the duck will go down here. Yeah, I like that on there. Okay, so let's get that down. See, we figured it out in the end. Just takes me a minute to get there. I think that's what I like about this kind of crafting is you just kind of keep working with it until you get what you want. And I didn't want it over that far, but that's why I put the glue, so that's where it's gone. All right, and then you just make it work. You work with it until you get it. And if you do it, if you're patient with it and you test things and you're willing to, that's why a lot of my projects when I'm doing stuff, I have to do that. I still have to do that testing and messing and trying to get things to look right. When I'm making them, because a lot of times I'm not happy with the first rendition of what I put down. And so I end up having to do, well, how would this look? Oh, how would this look? That thing. Auditioning, I think I heard somebody call it one time. I don't remember who called it that, but that's what they called it. And I found that very apropos. Because that's exactly what you're doing. You're auditioning pieces for the spot. Auditioning looks and combinations and all that sort of thing. And yes, I did not ink the top on purpose. It's a straight edge, and I don't want to emphasize it. I feel like the straight edges emphasize themselves, if that makes sense. I do not want to then emphasize them more. Okay. All right, so there's our collage background. Now we need to get our little pictures ready. Like that. Okay. Let's do the edgies. And then I'm gonna pause it and I'll stitch them and I'll come back and show you how they look and then I'll let you go. So for you, it'll be like a minute. For me, it'll probably be a little while because I'll probably do some other things while I'm gone. I might even clean up a little bit so that when we come back and I'm showing them to you, the table doesn't look like crazy town. Although I do want to finish the others, so we'll see. I may or may not do that cleaning part. Okay, put that in there and that in there. And we decided he's going at the top. So yeah, just a lot of changes going on and a lot of kind of up in the air. Don't know how it's going to go sort of things. I wish my shop was doing better. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to, at the very least, when I'm away during the day, take a computer with me and work on digitals. That's what I would like to do. So I'm hoping that that will work out so that I can do that. You know, find a public library, find, you know, something, someplace I can sit with my computer. And okay, so in the end, we got there. And I'm thinking I want to use this edging. I love this stuff. This one has a nice wide edging, but it's nice and flat. So it doesn't... it's not thick. See that? So it's not thick at all. All right, now we're going to go like this, and we're going to put a line of glue down here. This can be a wider line of glue, although it doesn't need to be. I mean, for the most part, this stuff is just holding things down until I can get it stitched. And of course, that's the other thing I would like to do, and the reason it will take me longer than a minute is because before I put any of this through my sewing machine, I would like to let this glue dry because it's Fabri-Tac and I don't want it gumming up my sewing machine if I can help it. Make sure that looks okay. Make sure it's even. All right. And we'll just cut the ends off. Right there, right here. And I will, well, for you, I'll see you in a minute. And we'll look at them all stitched up. And yeah, maybe I'll throw them on some backing paper and we'll call it a day. All right, guys. Okay, so as you can see, I've cleaned up. So I went ahead and I finished off the rest of them. So like I said, it was a minute ago for you, but for me, it was all of this time ago. They have not been backed. I have laced and collaged the fronts of all of them. Okay, so we got through all the cards. There's another one that needs a little bit of glue. We have this one, and these all have to find, I have to find an embellishment piece and stuff for all of them. So they're not going to get done today, but I wanted to get you through seeing what I did with them. And then I went on my sewing machine and I stitched. So I went all around the outside and then around something in the middle. So I did it for the ones that I knew the glue was dry on. So the very first one I did, my example card, I stitched around, and that's the one I have embellishments for. So we'll finish this one off today. Then we have this one that I went around the outside, and then the scrapbook paper that I had, you can see here, this one was torn, so the stitching is all over the place. This one, I just went on the box. Okay. I love the way these turned out with the stitching. And then for the cat, the scrapbook paper is actually under another piece of paper, so I just stitched right through there. And so the stitching becomes a part of the piece. And then we got that one. And I got this one where I stitched around the little patch of fabric that I stuck on here. And then I kind of just, I stopped at a point and I realized it wasn't even, so I just kind of made a messy angled stitch to get back down to where I needed to be. And that's all those. So what we're going to do is we're going to back all the ones I stitched. And then we will embellish this one and then we'll be done. And actually, I think I'm going to put this on, yeah, on here. All right, so basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the threads out of the way. Since I'm getting ready to stitch, to put this down, I'm going to go ahead and clip these. I don't want to pull on them too much because they'll pull their stitching out, but I'm going to clip these. Yeah, I had to start right in the middle there because my sewing machine, I don't know, it did something really weird while I was messing with it. And all right, I'm going to put glue all along the edge. My stitching did actually come close enough to catch the lace edging there. I know it did for most of the other ones. That one was a little bit questionable because the edging was so small. And I wasn't sure I was going to get close enough, but I managed it. All right, and then we're going to go all around this stitching. Just want to make sure the stitching gets glued. And I'm not using paper to back these. 2 reasons. One, the stitching will, I mean, it'll make the paper bumpy to write on. And 2, I want these, actually, you know what? I'm going to lay it down. I want these to be kind of stiff. All right, and I want this to come right up to the edge so that the lace hangs off the side. We're going to put this right up along the edge of this piece of paper. Make sure it's sandwiching that edge on the lace. This one is a little... Come on, you can do it. Okay. And then we're going to smoosh it. Make sure it gets all smooshed. Now, I can see the threads there, and I mean, I could... But this is cardstock, and writing on that is not going to be the same as if you put paper back here. That's not good. Okay. And then we'll just make sure my edges are all down, and right along here where the lace is all down. Now that it's all down, let's trim it. Okay. So we'll cut it off of here. And I should be able to use this piece 2 more times. So I can do 2 more cards with this. Assuming that I make that turn at that corner and don't cut all the way down the page. So in the effort to kind of save paper. So I should be able to get another card there and then probably another card there. All right, now that my threads have all been glued, I can clip these. Get all that off of there, and I can clip these. I don't backstitch on paper, so I wait until everything is glued before I pull the stitches out, because otherwise they'll pull out of their holes. Okay, and that's what we got. All right, now we take our little paper flower embellishment here and put it on there. The embellishments on these, especially if they're going to go on this back side of the card, because I know how these pockets are facing, and I'll show you in just a second. Might do that instead of going through and backing the rest of these. You kind of get the idea. Okay, so we put our little flower on there like that. And then the debate was whether or not I was going to put this on here, and I think I decided I was, but let me see. Because what I was thinking about doing was cutting some of that out of there just because I might want to stick an eyelet. through there, and I don't know if I can get an eyelet through there. I'm thinking it won't. I'm thinking what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to trim here and here. I don't want a big spot missing. Just enough that I can put an eyelet in if I want. So we're going to cut this piece out. Oh. I'm going to have to go all the way up. I hope I cover. Yeah, that should cover. All right, now let's put this on. My glue is being oozy again. Oh, that's going to be a lot of glue. All right, so right here, like that. Try to make it even. And then close it around the lace. I've got enough glue in there, I should be able to squish it. And I should be able to get an eyelet in there, which I think would look really cute. So yeah. Let's look at what we got. I don't know if I want to do something big. I do have brown though. Okay, first of all, we need to do the bigger hole. I'm going to try and punch it right through that hole, that circle. Okay. There is some fabric there. Or some glue or something. All right. And then we're going to stick this in here. Oops. Helps if you reset the thing. Then. Okay. There we have it. Okay. Cute, right? And then if you want, you can put a charm in there. If you don't, you don't have to. It can just be a little decorative spot. And I want to show you, okay, last but not least, just so you know what's going on. This is the calendar journal I was making. Remember this calendar? We started it and I made this, these pages to go in between with some journal kits that I had bought, and I just printed the pages individually. And then I put a little signature between each one, right? So there's the chickens and the cow. The goat is in here. As a matter of fact, there he is. Okay. He does have a pocket right here, so I could put him. All my pockets are here, and they are side pockets, and they face like this. Okay. So when I make these, it'll stick out like that. Is that adorable? I love that. Okay. And that's how that's going to look. So when you're in here on this page, you pull the card out and there you go. I love it. Okay. Now, the journal itself is still in need of decorating. This page happens to be a little shorter. It's got, which worked out good because the pink cards ended up getting cut a little short. but it's got a gap down here where I need to decorate, and these pages are too short, and you know, there's all kinds of stuff that still needs to happen in this journal, but I really wanted to make these cards, and that's how they'll look in the journal. So they'll all stick out with their little lace borders and their tabs or whatever I end up putting on there. So I just have to go and find embellishments for all of them and back all of them. And I hope you like this project, even though it's for a calendar. This was a making from my mess. This is one of our scrap projects. I did not use any other than these, because this is full size. I didn't cut these down. I did not use any full-size pieces of paper on here. Everything came out of a scrap drawer, be it coffee dyed scraps, scrapbook paper scraps. All of it was scraps, including the card backgrounds. The only thing that isn't scraps is these backing pieces. These are not scraps. Although two of them are. These two will be. So this was our making from my mess video this Monday, and we are still in our scrap series. We may be coming out of it soon. I might be showing you everything we've made next week, or unless I come up with another scrap video. I kind of want to do those toppers I was telling you about, and that's mostly scraps too, so we might do that before we end the scrap series. So come back with me next Monday and we'll figure out what else we can make with scraps, or look at what we've already made. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.